And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And here we are for the 1955 Philadelphia bank wrap roll. It's actually a Fed Reserve wrap roll that I sprung on you guys last night during the 1944 D roll reveal. And there were still enough of you guys in the roll reveal to sell this roll out inside of 1 minute. So we've got quite a culling for this phenomena that we call roll reveals. So I got 50 names here that belong to all the people who called out last night, said that they wanted a coin. And we've got one little chip here for this wrapper. And this wrapper says, let's see if I can get it close enough to actually make it legible. Yeah, kind of. It says Pittsburgh Branch, Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. So this is the Pittsburgh Branch, Federal Reserve Bank of the Fed Reserve Bank of Cleveland, Ohio, which basically means that it was a bank. And so who do we have in here? We've got Joe McBride, Jim Fletcher, J.O.B., Stonecutter, Lucy Ramlow, Spike Ted Dycrack, Wild Bill, Stonecutter, Rudy Alfaro, Steve Looking for Silver, Stephen Dallas, Raymond Longy. Let's hope we do see some killer coins out of this roll. I'm going to go ahead and start the opening process. Pick the paper off at one end. Turn the roll around, pick the paper off at the other end. And as usual, I have thoroughly washed my hands prior to this presentation. I don't like using gloves. I drop coins and tend to be very fumbly when I'm using gloves. And I prefer to do this without gloves, which means I wash all the oils off my hands prior to the event. Now we have the roll open. I'm going to put the wrapper over the coins just like I usually do. That will determine the order in which these coins are revealed. Number 1 to my left, number 50 to my right. Assuming there are 50 coins in the roll. I've run into one case where there were not 50 coins in the roll before. So here's our wrapper over here to the side. And I'm going to put everybody's name and this free wrapper chip inside of my bag, my trusty white bag. Time for us to get something really good out of this roll. I don't know how we're going to be able to top the 36S roll that we just went through. 15 RPMs revealed in a Gem BU 1936S roll. But we'll see how we can do it. Starting with Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz gets the roll end coin. Let's see what we have here. Oops, I'm going to have to dust this one off a little bit. And for that, I have a very frayed out Q-tip. And all it's doing is acting as a duster. I gotta get it frayed out first here. I'm going to show it to you. This is what it looks like. It's very frayed out. It's just there to dust the coin off. That's all it's going to do is take the contaminants off the top of the coin so we can see the details. No, I didn't quite get them all off there. Here we go. Nope, still not. Oh, there's something clogging that last 5. Okay, and we do have what people know of as the poor man's double. I'll explain that a little bit closer here in a few minutes. Turn the light up a little bit so we can see things better. Got a nice die crack going through the head. Well, we have nothing here that I can see that shows me double die. But we do have a nice uncirculated coin. Let's flip it over. Now I can turn it back down. Turn my light back down so we can actually see details. we have a rather late die state coin that is a nice red uncirculated coin on this side. And it does appear that we have nothing going on this coin as far as die doubling is concerned. The obverse is a muted red with a little toning. The reverse is bright red. So that's what we have here. That's coin number 1 for Jim Schwartz. Jim got the first position in this roll. Let's see who gets number 2. Number 2 is going to go to Steve A. Steve A will get the second coin in the roll. Nice bright red obverse. And this one also has a little bit of that effect that you get mainly on 1955. It's called a poor man's double die by a lot of people. And basically what it is late die state coin. The details on the die start chipping away toward the edge. Oh, something just isn't straight with my lighting here. I'll try to get it straighter. Get a little better for you guys so we can see better. There we go. And so what we end up with are coins that have this extra metal as it would appear on the outside edge of the 5 of the date. And what that is where the die started chipping away on the outside edge. And it is an anomaly that was first found during 1955 after the news came out about the big double die. A lot of people started finding these and thought they had the double die, and they took their coins out to the coin shops or wherever they could get someone who knew what they were doing, where they got the bad news that this is actually just die deterioration. Well, over the years, the album companies have been placing spots in their albums for the 1955 double die, and a lot of people have purchased these to stick in that slot because they don't figure they'll ever see the actual double die, so this is what you get. And typically these sell for a couple of dollars up to $5 or $10 a piece, depending on how nice they look, what condition they're in. But these right here, oof, got a bit of staining on this. Not such a great coin. 1955 rolls are very squirrely. They come out, well, rather bad shape sometimes. And that's just how the rolls come. That's why 1955 Philadelphia is a tough roll to get. That and the fact that, well, most of them have been opened to look for the double dies. This one hasn't, though. There's another poor man's double. My light keeps bouncing in and out on me, so I keep getting scope and not scope and scope and not scope. Okay, we get ourselves another rather normal coin here. It does have the extra little bit on the edge of the 5. Wow, these coins are just late die state. These dies were just beat up. This isn't necessarily the fault of the coins themselves here. I mean, the coins are actually rather nice looking. It's just when you get really, really close to them, that late die state, you're just taking away a lot of detail that was on the die, and what remains goes into the coin. But it's I don't know what that green issue is. It may be my color problem. I mean, let me reset my. Here, let me do this. Let's see. No, that's the wrong one. Cancel, cancel. Go to this one. And I'm going to go in and reset this camera back to its defaults. Now we'll see how it works out. Alright, coin number 4 was going to Lucy. This is her first coin with us. And let's see what we've got here. Okay, this came out much nicer looking anyway. Looks like something happened to us with my white balance or something. This turned out much better. Sorry about that on those first 2 coins. I was wondering what that was, and it turned out to be the color on my camera. Alright, so here we go. We got a nice big die crack on the shoulder on this one, but we don't have a double die here. No double die. And here we flip over and look at the reverse. It is a very late die state coin. My camera keeps turning on and turning off on me. So it looks like probably what we're going to run into through most of this roll is going to be later die state coins. And these are coins that have been through a full die life already. And I think they probably used half the number of dies for 1955 cents that they did for other years, because it seems that they just made those dies last longer and longer. Exactly why they did it that way, I have no idea. But 1955 seems to be a very prolific year for having dies that were just worn out. Alright, here's our next coin. Well, this one's spotty. That didn't turn out so good. Nice big die cracks on the head, but no double die. What is going on with my camera? Here, let me take this. Let me reset it here. Sometimes things just don't go as well as you want them to, right? Deactivate it and reactivate the camera and see if we can get it to show up a little bit better for us. Okay, get it focused here. Oh, that is focused. Okay. Well, a little bit better as we give it a third chance here. We got a rather spotty coin going on. A badly spotted coin. Okay. There's another one. In and out coin number 5 for Ray Longy. Robert. I didn't mean to call you Robert. Is it true when they found these back, then they sold them for like $8? In the 80s were like $2.50, and now a lot more. Is that true? We're talking about the big double die. Yeah, the big double dies were sold for, I'm going to say, somewhere between $10 and $40 when they were new, up into the 60s and 70s. And in the 80s they were a couple of $100, and now for a nice red uncirculated you're going to pay thousands for the DDO number 1. Well, this is an original roll. I can tell that because I've seen this set of die cracks a number of times already. We're only on coin number 6. I think I've seen it 2 or 3 times. Let's see what we got here on the reverse. Just worn out dies. Very worn out dies. And a roll that was not very well preserved, I have to say. That was for Levels of Madness. Let's see what we come up with next. It's always a crapshoot when you're opening a 55 roll. Wild Bill. I love getting the opportunity to try to open these and see if I can find anything good on them, because the DDO number 2 is not that uncommon to find in original rolls. And they were worth a pretty good shot of money. Okay, we got nothing on that coin on the obverse. My tag camera? What's a tag camera? Oh, it does, doesn't it? Huh. Let's try resetting this one. Here we go. Okay. Thanks for that. My tag camera. Okay. Now I know what you call a tag camera. Okay. Well, nothing really to say about these except they are very late die state coins. They don't seem to be following the configurative norm of what looks nice to collectors. They look rather haggard. Another one for Levels of Madness. The coins are pretty nice if I can ever get the camera to work. Some of the coins are actually really nice. This one is a pretty nice coin. There's another set of die cracks we can start watching for. Looks like a wishbone laying on its side. Crack down to the eye. Or the brow right above the eye. Now let's take a look at the other side. Big giant crack on the T. Very late die state otherwise. And nothing else there. Coin number 9. Hawkeye. Hawkeye will get coin number 9. Let's see what we come out with here. Massive die crack. That's almost a split. Almost a cracked planchet. Planchet's all messed. I mean, not planchet. Duh. Busted up die. I'm not having a good time with this roll right now. I'm a little frustrated. I thought this was a nicer roll than it's turning out to be. We'll go a few more coins in, and we'll see what we're going to do with it. That's coin number 9. Let's draw for coin number 10. Shimar does love these die progressions. He'd have a good time with this roll. Let's see what we have here. Alright, I'm getting rather mad at my camera now. It keeps deciding to flicker out on me. Nothing going on there. Toned down center of the reverse. Around the edge is still nice and red. No, you're probably not the only one with the occasional buffering. Hey, Paula. Coin Dragon. Abe's doing a max headroom. There you go. Okay, Lucy, here's your second coin. Let's see what we turn up with here. Oh my gosh. That's something sitting on the coin there. Let's see if I can find my Q-tip and get it off of there. Yeah, it's some sort of waxy something from the paper. And it's just sitting on the coin. There's more of it. I have no idea what that is. Some sort of waxy buildup on the coin. Yeah, we're going to see what we're going to end up doing about this. I'm not okay with the quality here. Now, 1955 is typically lower quality. Finding a good quality roll for 1955 is difficult to do. This is for Ezekiel. Ezekiel's first pull out of a roll. We got a different set of die cracks in the head. These die cracks are rather common for 1955. As you can see, almost every coin we've pulled out of this roll so far has some form or another of die cracks. Reverse again, very late die state. And that's Ezekiel's coin. Let's do number 12. Wild Bill. Wild Bill for coin number 12. And what we see here, gosh, it's almost it's like a crumbled up die. Dies are just falling apart. DDO number 3 would be a class 6 double die obverse. I don't see class 6 on this one. No class 6 here. We got a number of different dies that have all that cracking and messed up stuff on the top of the obverse. Let's take a look at coin number 14. This goes to Mr. Schwartz. Same die cracks we've seen before. Take a look at the other side here. Nothing special there. Hello, Todd. JOB. Let's see what we can do for JOB here. Wow. Just a haggard looking roll. Well, I don't ever want to open these ahead of time because I don't want people to think that I'm cheating or seeding or anything like that. So I don't look at these coins prior to opening them. So when I open them, you never know what to expect. What I saw on the ends of this roll looked nice. What comes out of the middle of the roll, though, shows that they weren't stored very well. And this one's for JOB. Jim Fletcher. This one's a rather nice looking coin. Better than some of the others. What I'm seeing, I keep seeing this, it looks like a fat B going tall. The B and the E look like they're kind of doubled, but they're kind of not. It's kind of hard to tell. But if I look up and in God we trust, I don't see any of the doubling that I would expect with any of the known double dies. We do have quite a bit of the shadow doubling on the 5 of the date, the last 5 of the date right there, with your, it's called the poor man's double die. Actually has nothing to do with a real double die. Dieware, folks. It's dieware. That's what all of this is that you're seeing. The spottiness is due to a lower quality of storage in a place that was moist. The issue with the details and the fact that the coins are just real mushy looking, it's all dieware. Dies that had already seen a full life of striking coins and were left on the press to continue striking coins until they fell apart. This scope is really bothering me today. During the last broadcast, it did perfectly fine. During this broadcast, it just seems to be knocking out every 40 seconds or so, and it stays out for about 5 seconds, so we're going to have to be patient with it. There it goes again. We'll figure it out. We'll get through it. Frustrations are just frustrations. They're very temporary. And well, there's a lot of things in life that are not so great that are temporary. But we always get over them. We keep living. $1955 very typically has an issue where the dice state of the coins is quite late. The dies are real mushy, kind of icky looking. There's another one. Just late die state. A little spotty from storage. That's possible. We could end up with a complete die failure. We'll see how this goes. Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn for the next coin. Looks like we've got 4 or 5 different dies that we've been poking through so far. All of them have cracks in the head. Most of them have cracks on the T of cent. All of them have die state issues. A little bit of spotting. Some of them are spotted worse than others. This one will go to Mr. Dowdle. It's coin number 20. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's discuss a date and mint mark in the 1950s where we can sort of take a vote among the people here who paid for spots in this roll. And let's see what I have with regard to a roll from any other date in the 50s that we could open up and try to do better for the people who purchase spots in this roll as a makeup roll. We'll just keep rolling and go ahead and do the second roll if I know where one is. Ugh, man. This camera is really disturbed right now. In fact, it's out more than it's in right now. Way more. So I got to figure out what to do about this, because this is not going to work. See if I can get this thing to come back for us. Let's see here. Okay, I've unplugged it and plugged it back in, so let's see what happens. Maybe that has given us some reprieve. 52S I do not have. Let's see, 54D, 50. Oh, thank you, Blaine. I appreciate that. I think I have 54D rolls here, so I can put a 54D roll in the mix of things here. I don't have an original 54D roll, as in an unopened, bank-wrapped 54D roll, but I know I've got 54D rolls that are 50 coins that came out of the same wrapper. They just aren't in the wrapper anymore. A lot of people took coins out of the wrappers back in the day because they knew that the wrappers could change the color of the coins, and they didn't want that to happen. So they took the coins out of the wrappers and stored them in tubes. So there's still a lot of original rolls out there. They're just not sealed. Let's see who gets coin number 22. J.O.B. So here's what we can do. Look, there's a nice amount of clash going on right there. You can see the N and the T of cent. You probably see, yep, there's the C of cent. That's a nice little clash. Should be able to see parts of the neckline on the other side of the coin. Steve looking for silver says 56D. I think I'm ready for a 54D roll. What I'll do is I'll dig through my box back here. I'll find a 54D roll. It's one that I've never seen the contents of, so I have no idea what's inside of it. And I'll just open it up and we'll go through it. And everyone who has purchased a spot in this roll will also get a coin from that roll. And what I'll do is I'll just take these holders, I'll go back through, and all of the same spots that were pulled for the last one will be the same spots that come out for this one. Did I forget to put a name in one of these? Hang on a second, I got a name sitting out here. No, it was a name that got dropped. So I'm going to put it in the bag. Mix everybody up. Yeah, so we're going to do a 54D roll. And a 54D roll will come free with this 55 roll. Even if you do get a goodie in the 55 roll. Now look at this one. This coin, yeah, except for a couple of little minor spots, it looks pretty nice. Pretty nice coin. It's got a buy developing. You can see a crack on the E. Just a little bit there. There's a crack on the lower lapel. This camera is acting up, and I think it's because it's been on for too much today. And it doesn't like being on right now. I've already unplugged it, plugged it back in. I've already reset it. I've reset it to factory defaults. I've refreshed it, deactivated it, activated it, and it still doesn't like us. So, it's not my fault. Must be you, Coin Dragon. Well, look at that. Same name twice in a row. So that's coin number 23 and coin number 24. I'm going to wait for the camera to come back on. There we go. Well, this isn't really a bad coin. This isn't a bad coin at all. On this side, anyway. The flip side's not so nice. Flip side's a little spotty. Yeah, I really prefer that all the rolls come out nice, but man, you really just never know. You never know. Sometimes it's the case where the bag was stored for 6 months before it was rolled, and it was stored in bad conditions, then it was rolled. Somebody bought the roll and they kept it in beautiful condition throughout the entire time they had it, but they didn't know the coins were already messed up. You just never know. By the time I get a hold of something like this 60 years after the effect, what is this, 65-year-old roll? Yeah, they just kind of, man, they kind of look fugly. I didn't say that. These are not the coins you're looking for. Please move on. Hey, Todd. So what's going on new with everybody? There's silver nitrate. See what silver nitrate comes out with. Kind of go through this rather quickly because I'm going to be doing a second roll. We're going to do coin number 25. We're going to break for a commercial real quick while I go grab a 54D roll. And we are going to open a 54D roll as soon as we finish this. So this is coin number 26. Coin number 26 is now in and done. That's for silver nitrate. Wasn't it fun, silver nitrate? Opening those circulated rolls, you never know what you're going to get out of them. They're so cool. We're going to run off for a commercial real quick. I'll come back with a 54D roll. Be sure to check out and subscribe to Mantic Coins on YouTube, where host Shay Hoffmaster takes you through a fun-filled tour through numismatics to include coin auctions, educational videos, live roll hunts, and much more. Come join in the educational fun with Shay. Search Mantic Coins on YouTube and subscribe today. The best in online auctions just got better. Now you can enjoy Coin Night live auctions twice weekly with the addition of CNLA Weekend Edition with your host, Jessica Johnson. All the same excitement and the same great deals with a new host and at a new time. Come join in the fun this weekend. All right, here it is. Ask ye shall receive. I have dumped these out real quick just to look at them for condition, and they are very nice coins. So we have a 54D roll that we will be opening directly following the end of this 1955D roll if I don't throw this camera out the window first. So let's go ahead and pick slot number 27. Number 27 will go to Silver Nitrate again. Seems like we get them in clots groups. All right. Another with a nice little die crack on the head. I don't feel so bad about these coins now that I'm giving them away, right? I like it better this way. This is a good education in what 1955 Lincoln cents typically look like, which is why the high-grade 1955 Lincoln cents are actually valuable coins. These are quite typical. Mr. Dowdle. If I do happen to find double dies in here, which I don't think I'm going to at this point because we've been through half the roll, then good on you. I'm glad I was able to give you a double die as well, right? That was the point for this roll in the first place. Let's see if we could find any double dies. And I see nothing on that coin. So we will put it in its holder for James Dowdle. That's coin number 28. Let's get to coin number 29. 29 goes to Steve looking for silver. And this is your coin. Steve looking for silver. Camera's bouncing out on me. It tends to be out right now more than it's in. So, I don't know what that's all about. Wow. Okay, it's out again. I don't know what it is that causes that. It seems to me almost like it's sort of like a projector when it gets hot. It just doesn't want to work. That's what it seems like. It's been on for a while today. Midnight Silver Run. Some of these coins aren't so bad. I mean, this one's not bad. It's a nice red uncirculated coin there. Relatively spot free. So we're just going to have to live through this problem with my camera if we're going to do this tonight. I'll try to stop when it goes out so I don't make you guys seasick. What I'm trying to do is get through this roll so we can move on to this 54D roll. I think the 54D roll might turn out to be a little better than this one for sure. I don't think it's ever been searched for varieties. I don't think it's ever been messed with other than the fact that it was taken out of a wrapper and put into a tube. It doesn't even look like it's been in a wrapper. All 50 coins seem to be nice and bright. That's coin number 31. Let's move on to coin number 32. Let's see what's on coin number 32 for Jeff Stanley. Jeff Stanley in coin number 32. Let's see what we pick up here. And unfortunately, it looks like just about all the rest of them, right? All right, that's coin number 32 for Jeff Stanley. The 1955 double dies, the big 1955 double dies, are not known past mid-die state. So the die was probably retired early. Here's Farm Dog. Given that's the case, it was likely discovered at the mint, removed from the press, and the coins which were already minted were allowed to pass through, and the ones that had not been minted, of course, this was discontinued prior to moving along. So this answers for why the 1955 DDO number 1 double die is not known beyond mid-die state. That would be somewhere in the tune of 50 to 100,000 coins minted. I'm noticing a trend here too. We've got a camera on the fritz. We've got a somewhat low quality roll of 1955 Lincoln cents here. And as I would hate to be the one paying for this roll, I don't want you guys paying for it. So we're going to go through a 54D roll and see if we can find some RPMs or something for you guys. Nice high-grade 1954 Lincoln cent. Because if I turn around and did another 55 roll, I'd probably turn out with the same result. But you never know. Could have got better results out of a second 55 roll. This one's going to be for Steve A. And that's coin number 35. Now for coin number 36, we will be looking toward Jeff Stanley for this one. There you go, Jeff. And get that one in holder number 36. Jeff Stanley. Number 37. Oh, and Jeff Stanley gets the wrapper on this one. That's the Pittsburgh Fed Reserve wrapper. And here is the wrapper. Put his name inside the wrapper, and that's how we do that. Knocking out the next name is going to be Wild Bill right here. This is coin number 37. Coin number 37 for Wild Bill. We are getting some uncirculated examples of the 1955 poor man's double out of all this. Poor man's double die, some people call it, but I prefer not to call it even a double die because, well, that kind of tends to confuse people. It's not a double die at all. So I like to refrain from even calling it that. There's Wild Bills. Coin number 38 is Mr. Fletcher again. It goes to Mr. Fletcher. So see, for everyone who happened to be watching the 1944D reveal last night, they got to have an opportunity to buy a coin in this roll. I didn't like this roll, so they're going to get for free a coin from a 1954D roll. All because they were watching last night. Now, for those of you who have not hit the like button, I would actually appreciate that because I'm not the one who made this roll look like this. I'm just a messenger. And I would appreciate as many likes as I can get on as many of these videos as I can get, simply because that helps the ratings of the videos themselves, which ups the amount of watch time the video gets, which eventuates into more commercial time for YouTube, which gets me more revenue for those commercials, which allows me to purchase more good rolls and give them to you at a cheaper price, because the more they pay for the roll that I'm not paying, I'm going to pass that savings on to you. So throwing a like on the videos can be a difference for you. See how I connected all that together? See what I did there? See what I did there? Yep, so this one looks like somebody took a Brillo pad and a sweaty hedgehog to this die and then minted the coins through a chocolate bar. So we are going to go back and try again. Steve looking for silver, got coin number 41 right here. Only got a few more coins in this roll, then we'll move on to the 1954 S roll. Same broadcast, same bat channel. Don't go anywhere, because we've got another roll coming up. It's 54D, sorry. I keep thinking 54S. My mind is on 54S, and I don't know why, but we're going to be doing a 54D. That's coin number 41 for Steve looking for silver. Let's move on to coin number 42. Now next, I won't be drawing out of the bag. I'm just going to be pulling them straight off the flips. This one will be for Steve Elliott. Steve Elliott gets coin number 42 in the roll. Take a look. I'm seeing if I see any of the signs of the 3 known double die obverses and the 1 known double die reverse. 3 known double die obverses. Die number 1 is obvious. Die number 1, if you miss it, you should not be doing coins. Die number 2, most of its doubling shows in God We Trust. It's rather obvious if you look at it closely. But if you're just flipping right through it, it can be missed. I have seen it a number of times, so I know what I'm looking for. And I thought maybe we'd find one tonight. I'd be able to show it to you, but that's not turning out to be the case. Die number 3 is a class 6 double die, which would put a lot of extra thickness in the 955 of the date. And with these being as thin as they are, this to me is obviously not a double die. The 1 known double die reverse is a class 6 double die reverse, and it shows a lot of extra thickness toward the rim in E pluribus unum. And I have not seen one of those yet this evening either. So I'm kind of just shooting right through this roll, because the 55 coins in this roll, well, they're not in the best condition. Joe's still waiting for his to come up. Pfft, would you know what I drew? Right? As soon as you say it, something happens. Right? There's Joe McBride's coin. That's another rather spotty 1955 Lincoln cent. Who's that shouldn't be driving? I'm for sure not driving. You probably do have a wrapper coming from a while back, Wild Bill. There's people that got wrappers coming from 5 months ago that still haven't gotten them. I am still working on a good way of putting these wrappers into some sort of something that actually makes them nice and flat and good for shipping. You got levels of madness here. I will get the wrappers out. They will come out. They will accidentally show up in a package that you're going to receive. And it's going to be like, well, it is all this. Oh, it's the wrappers. I got people that have probably 10, 15 wrappers coming from me who haven't received them. But the reveal number will be with the wrapper, so you'll know what the wrapper came from. Here's coin number 46. Joe McBride. Put them in a plastic tube. Problem is, the plastic tubes aren't long enough for them, because when you've opened a wrapper, it becomes quite long. And plastic tubes are not easy for mailing either. having them flat's the best way to do it. And I have kind of figured out that a 6x9 envelope will handle them. And I can write on the outside of a 6x9 envelope what's on the inside. And what I've done so far is I've flattened them out with a steam iron. And I've gotten them all nice and flat for you, so they're in frameable condition. Frameable. That's not easy to say. They won't fit in a currency sleeve. Even a large size currency sleeve is too narrow for them. I have to look for something that's at least 6 or 7 inches. This coin actually looks very nice. A very nice luster. I just kind of saw it as I was getting ready to lay the coin down. It's got superb luster on it. It's got a few spots, but it's got really nice luster. On the obverse. Didn't I say that? On the obverse. Well, that's coin number 47 for Mr. Dowell Stonecutter. And here we're going to move on to coin number 48. We got 3 left in the roll. Steve looking for silver. So as soon as I do figure something out, I'm going to get all these wrappers out. I'm going to start packaging them up, put them in everybody's packages. Not seeing much of anything on these coins, except some of them are pretty nice uncirculated coins. Some of them are not so nice. So that's Steve looking for silver. Coin number 49 will go to... Where are my last 2? There they are. Hiding. I'll go to Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz will get coin number 49. And it's spotty. Toned, but spotty. I don't see any hub doubling here. Take a look at the other side. And spotty again. Gosh, can't sell these for $1. And Mr. Elliott. Oh, I'm sorry. That was for Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Elliott gets coin number 50. That's how that works. Mr. Elliott's name pulled out of the bag. And here it is. And here it is. Nice toning on this one. This is the roll end coin. And there we go. So that's that roll out of the way. We'll move right along. And I'll get this 1954D tube to roll out as soon as I can get this flip picked up. Get the coin inside the flip, get the name inside the flip, move the flip over to the other side. Then I'll grab the bag, toss the bag out of the way, and then I'll get all 50 of my flips. All 50 of my 1955D flips will come up here. Just like that. And I got my 1954D roll here, which I will empty. Invariably, it's got one stuck in the bottom. And that will be coin number 50, which actually does have roll end toning on it. So this is probably an original roll that was just dumped into a tube. So, coin number 1, Mr. Schwartz. Let's see what Mr. Schwartz gets on a 1954D. Much better looking roll. What do you know? Actually have what might be an RPM right here on the end. Oh, folks, don't worry about me. This is good. I like this. This is fun. We got a bunch of crap out of that last roll, so we're getting good stuff out of this one. That is an RPM. So we're going to call that die number 1 for the day. Got a nice double split serif RPM. We've got a really nifty die marker there and a heavy die scratch that parallels the front of the vest. Another one running through the D. So I don't know which die we have here, but it is definitely an RPM. So that's our first coin. What is going on here? There we go. There. So this is a nice, bright, shiny red coin. Let's take a closer look at the RPM here real quick. So that's the first coin out of this row. Provides us a nice little RPM. You can see the double split serif, or actually the top one you can see there. Ooh, that's actually tripled right there on the top. You've got two little cuts going down the face of the serif. Let's flip it over and see what we can see about the D, the bottom side. Yep, it's a tripled. So this is a D over D over D. Interesting, interesting, interesting. 3 times over. Alright, so we got a good start. This is number 2. Very nice. So, RPM number 2, which actually means we do have some chance of finding RPM number 1 in this, which is an FS listed coin. And if we do find some RPM number 1s in here, I will be fully happy about what occurred. Okay, so this is how it's going to happen. I've got Mr. Schwartz gets coin number 1, and coin number 1 has 2 inside. You have a 1955 and a 1954 D. Just look at the difference between the two coins right there. Obvious difference, huh? So that's going to be die number 1 for the day. Don't pay attention to the 1955 that you get in there. Just look at the 1954 D. And Steve A will get the second coin in the roll. These are coming out in the same order that we did the 1955s. So your roll enders are going to be roll enders. 1954 D, I don't necessarily expect to see a whole lot other than RPMs. There are a couple of known double dies. They involve the 4 of the date, which I don't see anything of here. But we could find some new stuff. Who knows? Could find something new. For double die reverses, I don't think we're looking for much of anything. There could be a minor class 6. Could be. I don't really know. I haven't looked at 1954 D listings lately. Usually I do my homework before I open a roll, but since we know the circumstance of this one, I've not done any homework on 1954 D. I'm just looking for anything unusual. That's coin number 2. So we got normal coins all the way around on coin number 2. Let's take a look for coin number 3, Jeff Stanley. Jeff Stanley's coin is not an RPM. This camera quits acting up. I'm looking at the inside edge of the 4 and see if maybe there's a double die going on there. Let me turn it this way, see if it shines in the light right for me. I'm seeing that something that could be an extra ridge line running along the inside edge of the 4. I get flipped around just right now. Turn the light up a little bit. It'd be rather hard to tell with these. With this lighting anyway. There, right there. There's an extra little ridge line running on the inside edge of the 4 that appears to be one of the double dies. Okay, it's number 5. Okay. I appreciate that. Number 5. Okay, so that's die number 1 for the day. Is RPM number 5 as being reported by my trusted associates in the office. I don't think I'm seeing anything here. I think I'm making it up, but I will be checking these coins again. And it's what I thought. You can see it right there if you look at it. You can see looks like a little bit of, it looks like extra caulk around the 4, around the left side of the 4. And that's just what I would be looking for one of the minor double dies. But I don't know that that's what I'm seeing here. And I'll give it a shot later on. I'll take a look at it. It is all sorts of odd. But I'll look at it more heavily once I get a good chance. You see how bright these coins are. It's much, much brighter than the 55s. So I'm kind of happy I'm going through this roll for you. Just the appearance of the coins is very obviously different from the 55s that we did earlier. Here you go, take a look at that. You can see it, the color is very different. That's coin number 3. Coin number 4 will go to Lucy. There's another RPM. I don't know if this is this. Is this the same one that we saw before? No, it's not. It's not the same one we saw before. It's a different RPM. Let me get the focus in just right here, so I can get the damn thing to act right. Let's see. We've got a doubled upper, and the lower is also doubled, as it appears. May have a tripled upper. I don't think this is the same die though, because we don't have the same die markers. This one's a little bit later die state too. So what's number 2? This one levels? RPM number 2? I don't know, since we keep finding these RPMs, I think I'm going to bring up a window for the RPMs and take a look. See what I can see. No, this isn't RPM number 2. This one is probably number 5. This one looks like it's likely number 5. No, this one may not be. That last one looked closer to number 5. You think? Let's look at the other coin real quick and see if they match, because I don't think they do. I don't think they have the same marker. Let's find a good marker on this one that we can use to try to compare the other one. First of all, this is a late die state obverse. Usually we find some good markers around Liberty. Ah, there we go. Heavy die scratch on the color. Heavy die scratch on the color. That's what we've got for coin number 5, which belongs to Lucy. Or is that coin number 4? It's number 4, sorry. Coin number 4, which belongs to Lucy. Now this is the one that was an RPM that we found earlier. This one I don't think is number 5. No, this one can't be number 5. The mint mark position is too far away on number 5. This one's a lot closer to the 5 of the date. That's one of the big things that you look for is, for instance, if I'm looking right here, you see the distance right here between the mint mark and the 5 of the date. A lot of distance right there. A lot of distance right here. Now if we go back over to the coin, you'll see that that distance is a lot closer. Cannot be number 5. But this also can't be the die that we were just looking at, because we don't have that die scratch on the coat. And on the other coin, we don't have any of these die scratches. And this coin is earlier die state. It's a mid die state coin. The other one's a late die state. And they came out of the same roll, which tells me that they're not the same die. So this one is going to be yet a different die, different position, different doubling on the mint mark. Markers are all different. The die state is different. And so we're going to call this one die number 2 for the day and keep moving. Die number 2 for the day for Lucy. So we'll get Lucy's coin moved over there, and now for Relongi, Lungi gets the next coin. These coins are a lot nicer condition. I like these. These are actually not bad at all. See what I can pick up here for Mr. Lungi. Looks like we got nothing going on with the D, but that 4's got that funny stuff again. But it's different funny stuff. It's not quite the same. Here it is. And I'll have to take a better look at these later. Once I can get under the regular microscope, I'll take a look and I'll see what we end up with here. Let's see, we got nothing on this side. Okay, Ray Lungi gets a normal 1954D. So I'm kind of happy with this roll. What does everybody else think? Did pretty good. Gonna get 2 uncirculated 1950s Lincoln cents for that price of 1. There's levels of madness coming up right here. Well, we have another. Let's see, is this an RPM? It looks like it could possibly be. No, I guess not. I was thinking for a minute that it was an RPM, but now it appears not to be. So it's not an RPM. It's not a double die. In that area anyway. Okay, not a double die. Let's take a look at the obverse. Well, you get a nice clean coin in this one. That's for sure. This one's a nice gemmy coin. It's got a couple of hits on it, but it's not spotted or toned or anything. Let's take a better look at what the whole coin looks like. Give you a better idea. There you go. A nice 1954D. There's nothing really wrong with that coin. It's got a little pit right in the middle of the jaw. But other than that, man, it's a pretty nice looking coin. Alright, so that's for levels. That's his 54D. And we're going to move on to coin number 7. That's going to be for Wild Bill. Let's look at this one, long distance. Pretty nice looking coin. Couple of stacking rub issues. Other than that, a nice brilliant looking coin. Okay, so now that we kind of know what these look like from further away, we can get in close and we can look at the details. Up close and we find ourselves another RPM. This one's going to be another example of die 1 for the day. This one's got the big die scratch. It's got the tripled upper serif, tripled lower. So this is going to be another example of die 1 for the day. I do believe. Yeah. Hey, Hawkeye. So we've got ourselves a relatively decent looking coin here and an RPM. So that'll get us somewhere, right? That's for Wild Bill. I'll put that one with the other die 1 for the day. Levels will get the next coin. And this one is another RPM. There's your another repunchment mark. Looks like another die 1 for the day, but it's hard to tell. Actually, I'm going to have to pull these apart with the microscope. Because they're looking very similar to one another, but they've got different markers. So we will just go with a true or false, RPM or not RPM. We're not going to try to do die numbers right now, because it makes it a little too difficult to try to keep them separated from one another. I'd rather just be able to put them in a pile and say, okay, let's figure out what these are later. But we do have a nice RPM. That one's going to levels. Levels got yourself 2 RPMs now. I do believe that's the way that worked out. Now we're going to Hawkeye. I just saw Hawkeye come in. So Hawkeye's going to get to see whether he got an RPM here. And the answer to that question would be... looks like it might be. Oh, this camera. Yes, it's an RPM. Hawkeye gets an RPM. You get an RPM. And you get an RPM. What is that? That's kind of different. Oh, mark inside the 5 there and it's straight. That's kind of weird. Let's back off of that and take a look at it. Huh. Interesting little mark in the 5 there. We definitely have ourselves an RPM. I can see it now quite clearly. Nice, nice. Nice, nice. So we got ourselves an really, really nice 1936 S roll. And then we pulled out a 55 roll from the basement. That didn't turn out so well. So now we're doing a 54 D roll. We're finding RPMs everywhere. I like it this way. Eric Bayer, let's see what you got. Bam, bam. What is that? Another RPM, I think. But it looks like a different one. If it is one. Gotta zoom in. Yeah, it's another RPM. Got the split on the bottom. Appears to be a split on the top. Not bad, girls and boys. Not bad at all. So I got ourselves another RPM here. I keep moving on around the roll and see what we see. Over here, we got no double die. We got no doubled eyelid. And nicely uncirculated reverse. That one's for Eric Bayer. Got another RPM there. We're doing well over 50% RPMs at this point. I like that. Let's say Lucy gets her next coin right here. Oop, this one's got a spot on it. Does it have an RPM? It does. This is an RPM. It does have a spot or two, but it's an RPM. So, yeah. There you go. That shows it off pretty well. Okay, I'll move on over and see if there's anything else here. Looks like we're finding some decent goodies in this 54D roll. Got a few more of them down below. So I just went in and I pulled this roll out. I've got 3 other rolls just like it in the box. Oh, we might do a 54S or a 54D roll. Why do I keep saying 54S? I do not know. Ezekiel. Let's see if Ezekiel's first real coin can come out to be a nice RPM. And, well, it's not. Not an RPM here. Not a double die obverse. Also not a double die reverse, but it is a nice coin. So Ezekiel gets a pretty nice looking coin. Here's another one for Wild Bill. See what Wild Bill does this time. Not an RPM. Not an RPM. Not a double die. Let's see about the reverse. Couple of spots. Otherwise, overall, a pretty nice looking reverse. But not an RPM. We move on to Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz will get... Dun 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 dun. 'Tis not an RPM. Not a double die. That's right, folks. Don't forget to spring forward this evening, where it's actually 10:19 Eastern Time now. By morning, it will have looked like 11:19. Have to go forward 1 hour, beginning at 2 a.m. Well, we're not really going to worry about that, right? It's Saturday. Another day before we have to go back to work, right? Joe-B. Joe-B gets the next coin in the roll, and it is an RPM. Oh, there's Joe-B's RPM right there. Nice coin, too. Nice coin. Looks like it's in really good shape. Let's take a look at the reverse. And a little spot on the rim. Tis a nice coin. Well, tonight, tomorrow, whatever, what we do is we go to daylight saving time at 2 a.m. on Sunday. That's tomorrow morning. So, tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. to a lot of people is tonight, because when they go to sleep, they're not going to wake up again before 2 a.m. There you go. Another RPM. This one's for Mr. Fletcher. You got a roll full of RPMs here. Yay. Gotta like that. Okay. Another nice one with an RPM for Mr. Fletcher. That's coin number 16. Coin number 17. We got a farm dog. Another RPM. Kind of like it when this happens. Another nice RPM for farm dog. Really nice looking coin too. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Another RPM. Eric Beyer. watching on his television. See what we get for Eric Beyer. Can't tell if it's an RPM or a hit. Let me find it where I can see it again. And I'll bring it up to zoom. That's where I see it best, actually. Not 100% sure what that is. Not looking at it in this light. Perhaps when I get it under my scope it'll look a lot different. But it kind of looks like no for right now. But I'll stick it aside and I'll take a better look at it. I'm looking at the bottom curve of that D. It looks like an RPM, but it also looks like a hit on the mint mark. So I'll have to take a look. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the coin, then we'll flip it over and take a look at the reverse. Got a little spot below the vest there. Okay. That'll go to Eric Beyer. We'll stick it off in a special place and look at it differently. That way I'll know that I'm looking for something slightly different than I saw in a lot of the other coins. Okay, Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn will get the next coin in the roll. And it will be an RPM. Definitely an RPM. It's got a little hit on the mint mark. But it is an RPM. We'll spot out in front of the face. Otherwise a very bright, shiny, gemmy looking coin. And a decent reverse. It's like all this stuff that you see way up close, you're not going to see it when you get further away. So don't worry about this. This little stuff here will be almost invisible from a distance. A regular distance. We're way, way close. We're like 57 times. We only need to be at 10 times to grade. So we do have an RPM there. Let's go on to Mr. Dowdle. Stonecutter, Mr. Dowdle. Here's your coin. This also is an RPM. This roll is full of RPMs. Loaded. Nice gemmy looking coin there. Let's take a look at the other side. What we're looking for on this side is, you know, if you've already seen an RPM, a particular RPM, and you know it doesn't have a double die reverse, it's very likely that none of them have double die reverses. Because typically the same obverse and reverse are used through the lifetime of the die. But in this case, what we're doing is we're looking for the possibility that there might be errors on one side. And that can be the case with any coin that's struck can be an error, and the next coin before and after are not. So we're looking for those instances where you have something struck through, dropped letter, anything like that, on a coin that we wouldn't ever know was such if we just threw it in the bin because it wasn't an RPM. So we don't do it that way. We go through and we look at every obverse and every reverse. Equal opportunity coin hater. We love them all. We know that. Just like our doggies. We love them all. Yeah, the action with the 55 roll that you missed out on, Jeff, is that we got a dud for a roll. Wasn't all that nice. Got a bunch of poor man's doubles in there. We got a bunch of spotty coins, very late die state coins. We got coins with a lot of die wear, a lot of spots, a lot of friction, a lot of icky. So I decided to pull out this on the vote of the audience. We pulled out a 1954 D roll. And I am including the 1954 D rolls, or the 1954 D coins, for free inside your 1955 flips. And these are turning out RPMs. Over half the coins have turned out to be RPMs. So, I'm happy. I'm happy in this case you're at least getting your money's back and your money's worth out of what you're getting. You're getting something interesting for the most part. You're getting something worth looking at for the most part. We are well over 50% here, actually. So I don't know what the actual count is right now. Let's see. We're on coin number 22. We have 14 coins that are RPMs out of 22. So we're about what? Is that about 65%? Something like that. Mike Birchman. Mike Birchman gets the next one. It's also an RPM. We're going to have a lot of fun identifying these RPMs later. I don't even know how many different ones we have here, but they're very similar to one another. Rather similar to one another. So I'll just be happy to get this scope turned off for the night. It seems like it's about to self-destruct. Alright, that's Mike Birchman. Gets himself an RPM. Mike Birchman also gets the next coin. And the next coin is... let's see. It does appear to also be an RPM. Yep. That is an RPM. There's the split in the upper serif right there. Split in the lower serif is a little farther over to the right on the mint mark. Definitely another RPM. Okay. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. Nothing there. As for Mike Birchman, now he's got 2 RPMs to look at. Possibly different dies. Coin number 25 will go to Ray Lungi. Here's Ray Lungi's coin number 25, and this is also an RPM. Looks like this whole roll is going to be RPMs almost. It has 2 mouths for the price of 1. I didn't know Lincoln did double talk. Let's see what else we got going on here. I don't see anything else on the reverse. So let's take this little gem of brightness out and stick it in the flip for Ray Lungi and move on. I do have an RPM for Ray Lungi here. So, silver nitrate. Let's see what we can do for silver nitrate. Another RPM? Maybe, maybe, no. Not an RPM. I know these die scratches running through the D, and I know it's a regular coin because of the die scratches running through the D. Because I've seen them before in this roll, which means this is an original roll. I had no question about it being an original roll. It looks like we're running into about 3, maybe 4 RPMs time and time again. So on this one, we also have a normal coin. Let's take a look at the next coin, which is also for silver nitrate. Silver nitrate's next coin will be an RPM. So we do have an RPM with his second coin in a row. Take a look and see if we have any errors worth discussing on the obverse of the coin. I see nothing there. Let's take a look at the reverse. You guys who have watched what I do looking through coins, I do about the same thing every time. Hey, thank you, Cent Hoarder. I appreciate that $1.99 super chat. So I can't remember. Did we end up with an RPM here or not? I can't remember. Yes, that is an RPM. So we're going to get an RPM for silver nitrate here. His 55 coin didn't look too bad in this particular flip. So we're getting double the whammy action here. All right, Mr. Dowdle. Mr. Dowdle will get the next coin. It also is an RPM. That split upper surf shows it right away. The camera's all on the blink again. But I look at these in the same direction, the same way every time I do it. And the reason I do that is so I don't miss any parts of the coin. Because I don't want to take the chance that I'm going to miss part of it. And now I get to see it. Man, that camera's really blinking up now. It's out more than it's in. I think it's going through spells. Spells or possession or something. Is there a priest in the house? Let me get this camera to quit blinking. Getting slightly dimmer light so I get a better look at it. The more I look, the more I am continuing to believe that Eric Byers' coin that I thought might be a South RPM probably isn't, because it was the only one I saw. That tells me it was probably coin damage, because I am looking at an original roll here. Well, we get one end or the other of the spectrum here, I guess. It's either the coins look too dark under the scope or they look too bright. I'll just keep it this way. If I see anything, I'll know it. I'll be able to show it to you in better detail. Oh, that was Steve looking for silver. Sorry. Steve looking for silver. It's coin number 29, and it is not an RPM. Midnight Silver Run. Midnight Silver Run will get coin number 30. That's this one right here. This one is also not an RPM. This is one of those ones that could be a minor double die on the 4. Just have to take a better look at it under the scope later. Interesting little die scratches on the reverse there. Part of the reason part of the reason I keep stopping is because my camera quits on me. I have to give the camera a chance to catch up to me. Alright, so that's coin number 30. Coin number 31 will go to JOB. JOB will get coin number 31. And here is coin number 31. We also do not have a double die or repunchment mark on this coin. This is one of the normal dies. And the reverse will not have a double die, but still chance of struck throughs, broken planchet, die cracks, chips, cuds, any of that kind of stuff can show up on one side of the coin, with the other side being completely normal. So we do take the opportunity to look at the other side of every coin just to be sure we're not missing something. Next one is Jeff Stanley. Another one of those with the concentric die scratches. Could possibly be a double die on the 4, but probably not. And we also have a rather nice coin here. This one's a nice gem. I like gem coins. I like them better than I like spots. better than spots, that's for sure. All right, there's Mr. Stanley's coin number 32. Now for coin number 33. Coin number 33 will go to Farm Dog. Farm Dog's coin number 33 looks like this. Again, not an RPM. Wow. Did we just milk it dry of RPMs in the first half of the roll? Number 28 was our last RPM. We were finding them one of every couple of coins. Now we're up to coin number 33 and still have not found another RPM. That's 5 in a row that are not RPMs. That is unusual for this roll. Of course, the camera's on the fritz again. Coin Dragon, cast a spell on this camera and make it work. All right. Mr. Fletcher, coin number 34. We're going to change our luck here. We're going to get an RPM. And I'm going to turn this into an RPM. It is one. Had to get up close to see it, but it's there. Oh, there's just not enough. Yeah, just not enough. There's a wee little tiny split in the upper serif, and that's about all. So I'm going to back off of this. I'm into listing stuff that's collectible, not really the fly speck stuff that's really small and almost impossible to see. So while there might be somebody out there who would list this as an RPM, I'm not going to. Just not enough there. You're very welcome, Farm Dog. Last thing I want to do in coins is make money that was not mine to be made. I have to sell things of quality. If I don't sell quality, I have to make it happen until I get it right. I think this particular roll makes it right. So I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy you guys are happy with it, and that we can all be pleased and go to bed happy that we've done the right thing. Hey, looky, we get back into the RPMs. There is an RPM. Ooh. Well, now that's interesting. I don't have any idea what it is, but it's interesting. It's like a little die crack running below the nose. That would be a very odd bird. Not seen that before. Well, let's flip her over and take a look at the other side and see what happened there. Oh, Chucky's getting tired. There we go. All right. That's one for Steve A. You hear me slamming these things. It's a matter of fitting 2 coins into a holder for 1. It works. You just got to give it a little motivation. Hey, look at that. Jeff Stanley gets himself an RPM there. Nice, nice, nice. No notching in the 9. I'm not seeing any notching in the lower tip of the 9. Anything that you are seeing is probably a artifact of the design itself, or could be a minor die crack. But I'm not seeing anything in the 9s. Let's see what we're doing here. Nothing on this side, no errors, no nothing to talk about. Just another 1954 D Lincoln cent. It has been a long night. Who's calling me Booger? Alright, Mr. Stanley gets himself an RPM, so that goes on the RPM pile. Wild Bill's going to be next. Let's see what Wild Bill gets. Not an RPM. This is one of those ones that is a possible DDO on the 4 of the date. And here's our die scratches, our consolation prize die scratches that come on the reverse of that particular obverse. Obverses and reverses are married together, and there's such thing as a die marriage registry, DMR. That's what you're going to see a lot when you look at Kaneka listings, and Kaneka listings are actually going to be there to show you. They talk about DMRs in those, where I had to check and see what that was again. I got spun off, of course, here. All right, Mr. Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher's going to get the next coin, and this one probably will be an RPM, right? Yes, it is. That is an RPM. So the die marriage registry, there was an attempt at one point in time, I guess, to list every one of the dies, obverse and reverse. And gosh, camera, come back. Quit that. It's blinked out 3 times in 10 seconds. There it goes again. All right. There it goes again. All right. Well, I could be consumed with saying, there it goes again. Just like that. But I think I'm going to quit saying it and just let us live through it. I think if we ignore the problem, it will go away. Right? Just like your teeth. If you ignore that problem, it goes away. All right, Mr. Fletcher got himself another RPM here. So we're going to put that with Mr. Fletcher's other RPMs here in the pile of RPMs with the other coins. Got a nice little collection of RPMs going on here. Hawkeye gets the next coin. Hawkeye's going to get an RPM here too, isn't he? Come on, camera, open up. Yes, he did. That's one of the tripled upper serif RPMs. Very nice. Let's look around for any other errors to discuss, because we know that there's no double dies or anything to that effect on this particular die. We've seen this die before. Code 1, 1A, 2B. B4, right? I don't know what you're talking about. SJ, how are you? We're popping a bunch of RPMs out of this roll. May as well stick around and watch. So we're having fun with it. Pulled out a 1955 roll for this reveal that was not such a great one. Hey, there's Coin Dragon. What do you know? Coin Dragon bought a spot in the roll, and he's going to get... This is the minor RPM. You can see just a little bit of a cut right there on the upper serif. And folks, the word is serif, not serif. Talking to somebody here who studied design and font libraries for many, many years, and you have a serif and sans serif. Sans serif is without the little pointies on the letters, and serif is with the little pointies on the letters. This is a sans serif font, no serifs. And the font that I use for Coppercoins is a serif font. Serifs are the little pointies that come on your letters. And the Coppercoins font is... It's Adobe Garamond Pro. Adobe Garamond Pro is what's used in that. Steve looking for silver gets the next coin. And if you're interested, the coin roll hunting with up above in the graphic, that is Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones is a sans serif font, no serifs. And the original roll reveal font happens to be grocery script. It's an italic font of magic marker-like writing. Hey, Steve. Is this one, what was this one? Did it turn out to be an RPM or not? I can't remember now. No, not an RPM. Okay. So Stephen Elliott. Stephen Elliott will get the next coin. And a quick poke shows me that this one appears to be the same die that Eric Beyer came out with earlier, and it is not an RPM. With what looks like a little tiny part of a double die lid there. But it's not. Never mind. Not going to be a double die lid. Alright, let's take a look at the other side of the coin. Steve, if you're lagging, you should probably refresh your browser. If you refresh your browser, it will come back and reload and possibly come back with a better bandwidth, better stream. That's Steve Elliott's coin number 42. And it is not an RPM. Moving on to silver nitrate, coin number 43 in the roll. Coin number 43 is an RPM. And that one is an RPM. And we are going to look around on the rest of the coin to see what we come up with. Nothing there. So I always refrain from using fonts that are very noticeable for other brands. And the reason for that is because a lot of times those fonts are copyrighted. And if they decide to lash out and say, you can't use that font, then you just lost your brand. So I try to use things for branding that are pretty much general fonts. Use those general fonts in a more creative way. And then you end up with something that looks pretty good, that's not necessarily owned or branded by anyone else in specific, or Atlantic, and you can use them. All right, that was coin number 43. That went to silver nitrate, and it was an RPM. So we're going to go on to Joe McBride. Joe McBride gets this one. Night Paula, and this one is an RPM. Yes, another RPM. Like it. Look at the condition of this coin. This thing is sweet. Sweetness. Nice. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other side. And a look at the other side is going to reveal that this coin is very nice. Very nice indeed. Indeed. So this is going to be coin number 44. Coin number 44 goes to Joe McBride and is an RPM. Coin number 45 will go to Levels of Madness. Levels of Madness will get the next coin in the roll, coin number 45, and it is also an RPM. This is sweetness, folks. Sweetness in a roll. This is still a gem coin, and it's actually one of the worst coins in the roll for condition. And it's still at least a 64 quality choice to gem coin. And it is an RPM. So We are doing very well here. Very well indeed. I am so glad I picked this roll. So glad. These RPMs mean a lot more to me in your hands than in mine. Glad I can share them. Coin number 46 will also go to Joe McBride. And Joe McBride's second coin out of this roll proves to be an RPM. It is an RPM. Midnight Silver Run, yes, I do. I will probably have another 36S roll from the same batch in another week to 2 weeks. If I get another 36S roll from the same batch, we will do them all over again, just like this roll. Hopefully they'll turn out to be just as nice. That's always the hope. That you're going to get something really nice out of a roll. All right, so Joe, we do have another RPM for you. So that's coin number 46 and another RPM. Here's coin number 47. This goes to James Dowdle. James Dowdle will get this coin, and it does not appear. Well, it could be. What is that? Well, a big old knot on the bottom of the mint mark there. There's definitely something going on there. Not exactly sure what that is, but it sure looks like something. Can I send yours to Silver Nitrate with his package? Of course I can. Is that what you want me to do? You do have a package coming, you know that, right? I'm going to call this an RPM for the time being and make myself prove that it's not. It looks like we have the right spacing between those two dots, the one inside the mint mark and the one below the mint mark, to be the two serifs. I'm thinking we may have an RPM there. I see something that looks like something. So whatever it is, and we've probably seen this die before because it's not obvious from all directions. It's only when you turn it like this that it becomes really obvious that that's a nice bump. Yeah, it looks like something sticking out of the lower part of the curve of the D. It looks almost like it would be a D over S, but there is no known 1954 D over S. That would be nice to have the first ones of those. That would be nice. All right, Coin Dragon, I do appreciate it. I will make sure yours is marked to be put into Silver Nitrate's package. And nothing here on the reverse. D over inverted V. The Virginia Mint. Yes. We had a mint in Virginia. Only minted coins for a few years. I'm going to stick that over here as an RPM. I think that's an RPM. I'm just going to take a better look at it later. And what are we going to have next here? We're going to have Steve looking for silver. Steve looking for silver is going to get his last coin in the roll, and the coin will be an RPM. We do have an RPM for Steve looking for silver here. No, Jim, there wasn't. I'm playing the game. There was a U.S. mint for a short time in Oregon, in the Dalles in Oregon, and it was never actually opened to make coins, but it was built to be a U.S. mint. That would have been our 9th U.S. mint. Who knows the other 8? Was that an RPM? I can't remember. And it is. Yes. Okay. Moving right along, we got coin number 49. 49 will go to Mr. Schwartz. I had a doctor when I was a kid with the last name of Schwartz. See, there's another one of those. I'm going to go back through this roll. I'm going to find a bunch of these. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find a bunch of them. And Mr. Schwartz has one of them. So now we know where to start looking. Oh, get real. Chuck has an excellent radio voice. Chuck has a voice that sounds like he's got a cold right now. Congested. It's a congestion voice. It's only after my voice clears up a little bit more that I sound like Darth Vader. All right, Mr. Schwartz, I'm going to stick this off to the side and call this an RPM for the time being. Yes, I've got a stuffy nose. Actually, you know, my nose isn't really stuffed up. It's just I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's almost like I'm a smoker again. Mr. Elliott. Mr. Elliott gets coin number 50 in the roll, and this is another RPM. This is the last coin in the roll. Being that it's the last coin in the roll, and it was the last coin in a wrapped roll, and I know that be fact because when we flip it over and look at the reverse, we have toning. We have toning on the reverse. This was the end of an original roll. These came out of a tube, but the toning is there. And it tells you for sure this was the last coin in the roll. And Mr. Elliott now has 2 roll end toners, 1955 and a 1954D. So there we go. That's it, boys and girls. That's the end of that roll. I'll put this in an appropriate stack. That goes in the RPM coins stack. So here's what we have so far that I have counted of non-RPMs, although there could be more. RPMs: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 non-RPMs. That means we have 31 RPMs. So we have nearly twice as many RPMs as we did non-RPMs in this roll. And here they are. Ladies and gentlemen, your round of applause, please, as the girls go marching in front of the cameras. 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 40, 39, 38, 36, 35. Then we move along to 28, 27, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 17, 16, 15, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 1, and 4. All RPMs. So, that will do it for the day. That makes us whole, I do believe. Because I feel good about it, and I'm very hard on myself. So, if I feel good about it, I'm sure you guys have to feel at least better than nothing, right? Flop this over to me here real quick. It really weird when I'm talking to you, but I'm not really talking to you. What if I do? There I am. You sent a package out on the 23rd of December. 2 months ago. You just got it back? Yeah, see, look at this. This is the Chuck in a little bit better than bad shape. You can see that over here, I have no bag. Remember the bags that I had the other night. And then over here, I've still got a little bag. Little bag, no bag. I shouldn't have any bags at all. Then it's to Germany. It took 2 months for it to get to Germany and come back. Was it a APO or was it a German address? And that, folks, for the people who aren't going to hang around just to chit chat for a while, that's the end of it. Now, I do want to let you know that we will have an auction coming up Sunday, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time. That's going to be Jessica Johnson right here on this channel. It's going to be her CNLA Weekend Edition at 3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. Now, we also have coming up, it's going to be 8 p.m. Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have a regular CNLA Coin Night live auction, and it is going to be right here on this channel, hosted by myself at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. However, I do need to let you know there won't be any reveals sold this particular week, and any packages, any coins that are won or ordered during this particular auction will not be sent until the following week. I'm going to have to take off for a couple of days. We have to head back to Missouri for a friend's funeral. Won't be back until the end of the weekend. I will start working on the packages, getting those ready. So we're not going to do any reveals this coming week. Been kind of an emergency week that we're going to be changing plans, but we'll be back to normal next week. Post office forgotten address. Line is on the off. That's just weird. So, and for German addresses, you just put the name and the street, the street number and the street name, be whatever the street is, or the PO box number, and then the last line is simply the zip code, then the city. And then under that, you could put Deutschland, Bundesrepublik, Germany, whatever you want to put down. I'm really sure that they go by Bundesrepublik anymore, do they? Maybe they do. Because I know the Deutsche Demokratische Republik is no longer there. Folded into the German. Oh, one line missing on it. Okay. And actually, when you do streets numbers in German, you put the street name first, then you put the number. I can't remember my address. On Stullerstrasse, but I can't remember the name of the number. Something B, 42B, I think. On Stullerstrasse, 42B, 792 Ramstein, Germany. Mr. Dowdle, email from you. I think I saw an email from you earlier today. I did not have a time to respond yet, but I will get to those. Pretty sure I read your email. I have to absorb it for a couple of hours before thinking of what I'm going to respond. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, here's the deal with that. Put this in the Facebook group, but I will let you know. I have about 50 labels that I created on the 24th of February. I am still working on the reveals from that period of time because I was ill for almost a week and unable to work a full day for about a week. I'm getting back to a point where I'm doing better with getting packages out, and I'm going to work the remainder of this week and this weekend, I'm making sure that I get, actually tomorrow, I'm making sure that I get as many of these packages out as possible. I have a number of die varieties that I have to attribute out of the roll reveals. Now, I don't want the coins going out without them being attributed. And so that's where the problem is. I spent a number of days without being able to attribute coins. So that's what the issue was there. And I'm looking for an email from you, Mr. Eubanks, but I don't see it. You send it to cd@coppercoins.com, and if so, how long ago? And also, I have the ones that were missing from a different order. That right there. So I've got it ready. Ready to go into your package. I've got everybody together. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly how to get everything done. Let's see. I'm looking for your message, Mr. Eubanks. I'm looking for it and I'm not seeing it so far. Ah, here it is. We're talking about a 1963 D Lincoln Cent. See if I can get a picture that's close enough for me to use. The bottom loop of the D. Board over. Let's see here. Zoom in on this. That looks like it could be one of the double dies. Yeah, it's a little too pixely for me to really tell for sure. But that's what I believe I'm seeing. Talking about that right there. We're talking about this little guy right here. I'm not really sure. I'd probably have to see a clearer picture of that particular coin to know for sure what I'm looking at. Yeah, Rudy, I've got yours. I've got yours out as well. I know I've got a large stack. It's probably an inch thick stack of postage labels and packing slips ready for packages that will have reveals in it going from 67 through 80. I think 67 through 80. So if you ordered any coins from roll reveals 67 through 80, your package is being held till I can finish those reveals. You have to finish the attributions for them so that we can have some chance of being able to get it right, mail you packages that are correct. Mr. Eubanks, I'd like to see another photo of this coin. I'd like to see a photo that's probably a little closer up or a little better lit if possible, maybe under a microscope. Hello, Vidal. 1989. If you're looking for it's 1989 Philadelphia, there's a number of double die obverses that have extra thickness in the letters. And up in Trust, they have extra thickness toward the rim. And then there's a few of them that have some extra thickness plus some separation in the United States of America and the initials on the reverse. You're looking at 1989 Denver. I would say the same for double dies, and there are some RPMs on those as well. Some are better than others. 1989 is a pretty decent year to be looking through. James, yes, there is one like it. but it's not really quite the same thing. This one looks a little worn out for me. It looks a little too fuzzy for it to be what we would be looking for, which is the DDO number 1, and that's going to look considerably different from that. Let me bring one up here real quick. Okay. A very small photograph, but will suffice in a pinch. That's what it looks like. And if you'll notice over here, you've got that little thing, but it seems to be a little more prevalent on this example than it is on your coin. And so I'm thinking that yours may not be, but it could also be a matter of lighting, and that the lighting and the detail in the photo just need to be turned up a hinge for me to be able to see for sure. But if you look up this die and you look for these markers on your coin, like these little die scratches here in the Y, you may find that you have the same die. So I'm not going to say no, it's not one, but I'm also not going to say yes, it is. I have to see clearer images of it to tell for sure. But I can post you a link to that right now. Go over and take a look at it for yourself. And that'll get you to it. So you can take a look. Can I explain matte finish? Matte finish. Matte finish is, here, let me show you matte. Good picture. See if I can get a bigger one. That's matte finish. Notice how the entire coin is not only early die state, as is evidenced by the fact that you have no flow lines, but you've also got this speckled surface. Now, on an early die state business strike coin, you're not going to have that speckling. On the business strike, for an early die state, it's going to be pretty smooth looking. But when you get this kind of speckling on the coin, yeah, there's just speckles everywhere. But it's a very, very sharp, very early die state coin with no flow lines. That's your matte finish. That's your matte proof. Not a brilliant proof, because a brilliant proof would be mirrors. Matte proof. Find another one. That's a 1909. Try a 1915. They always look pretty nice. Get you a nice big picture of a 1915. Nope, not that one. Let's find us a big picture of a 1915. Oh. You see the matte finish again? Actually, too much. Here we go. This is what people, they're looking for, matte finish coins, but they don't really know what they're looking for. Just look up any proof Lincoln sent from 1909 to 1916. They were made from 1909 to 1916. Look up a good, high quality image, usually from PCGS, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is a matte finish. Very, very sharp, very early die state, meaning there's no flow lines, and you've got every detail. I mean, look at every hair in the beard is there. So that's a matte proof. Now, other than that, a matte finish, you would be talking about, there's another coin that came out, it was 1998. Okay, so this is a matte proof, or a matte finish. You see, once again, no flow lines. You have a very early dye state, and you have a bunch of little peckly marks throughout the field. And that's just to, basically what a matte finish is going to do is it's going to hide just a little bit of the very, very tiny flaws that you get when you mint coins. And that kind of almost frosty surface kind of hides that just a little bit, kind of makes the coin look a little more perfect. That's what you get. That's a matte finish. Okay, Hawkeye. A whole roll of 1955 S pennies with chips in the 9 and both 5s. You're probably talking about coins that are of RPM number 2. Put that up in there. I don't want that. I don't want to hear myself. Let's see. Let me go to my website. Let me search 1955 S RPMs and LDS. You talking about something like this? Help out with that just a little bit. Now, in a slightly later version of this, you do have a chip up here in the 9, but you've got chips in both 5s. 1955S with chips in both 5s. And it's RPM number 2. You can see that there's a little separation going on right here in the top of the RPM, to the top of the mint mark. That makes it RPM number 2. Now you can check for these various markers. That'll give you an idea as to whether you have RPM number 2. I'm going to post this link in here for you to go take a look at that. There you go. And that's for Hawkeye. I'm working on replacing all of these images. Myself, Brian Allen, Jody Gomez. I don't know why I said Davis. Brady Davis, Jody Gomez. But we're working on replacing all of these images on the website. Where if you see the size of the image here and how small it is on my screen, now I'm going to go to a die. One of the recently added dies. And I can just show you any of them really. And that's what we're going to. We're going to larger images that show much better what we're looking for as far as markers are concerned. These should help you a lot more in being able to determine which RPMs or which double dies you do have. Last thing I want to do is make a website that's hard to use. But we're working on it. See how much smaller this header image is than these images? These images are 800 pixels wide. And so this is built for a 1024 by 768 screen. The old website was built for the old archaic 800 by 640 screen, the 800 by 600 screens. And so our photos were actually 400 by 300. Now the photos are 800 by 600, so they're twice the size of the old photos. And they look pretty good. Some of these were added by, there's one added by Brian Allen. So Brian Allen actually put this die on the website. Put these marker photos together for us. Some of these other ones were done, this one was done by Jody Gomez here. This is Jody Gomez, a brand new die that he just added to the website. His images are not the right size, though. I'll have to ask him about what he's doing with his images. They don't seem to be cropped in at the right size. It says that they're 800 by 600. Huh. That was kind of strange. Then why is this one showing up different? This one is 1024 by 768. Okay. What did Brian do? We did 800 by 600. Okay, so they should be 800 by 600. So that's what we're doing with the new website. Sorry, I went all geeky on you and went into web developer zone there for a little while. How many people do we still have here? We still got 24 people here. Why don't you guys give me some ideas of different roles that you would like for me to try to obtain to do reveals? And I'll see what I can do. Not always easy getting some of the older. You guys give me some ideas of what you really would like to see. A 1990 that weighs 3.1 grams. I don't know of one. Second roll turned out pretty good, Spike Ted Die Crack. Actually turned out with about 60% RPMs. 65% RPMs out of those. We did very well with them. So I've got my note paper ready here. Start taking notes on get my paper ready. Start taking notes on what you guys say that you would like to see as far as any new rolls. 1965D. There is no 1965D, brother. 1965 Philadelphia is not exactly. Okay, 1956D is one that I do on somewhat a regular basis. I'm a little bit tired of them right now because it doesn't seem like any of the 56Ds that we're pulling are actually producing anything. But I can try another one. Try 56. These are going to be the ones that I'm going to work on getting for when I get back from my trip to Missouri. I'm going to be going to Missouri on Wednesday or Thursday. Be like 63. Okay. 51D. 2D. Really want me to look through a 65P roll? You know, 51 Philadelphia seemed to be really get a hold of. I usually do 51 Denver because you got two different OMMs, nice double diobverse that you can find in those. They're not all that expensive. I can do 51Ds around $3 a coin. Anything exciting on the steel sense? Yeah, if you can find 1943D, they are certainly worth going through. They're kind of expensive though. But if you guys really want a 43D roll, I can certainly look for one. $68 PND. Okay. Earliest roll I ever opened was a 1936S. Did a 1936S well, this evening actually. It was a very nice one. 72 2020. Okay. You'd take your max bin on 1968 or Denver's. Matter of who else would. Or 72s. I've opened a couple of 72 rolls. I've sold 72 rolls. Haven't really found much as far as double dies in those yet. Got myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 different issues that you guys have told me about. There's only one of them prior to 1950. None of them prior to 1940. So we're into rolls that have a slightly lower price point per coin. Now 43D is going to be somewhat expensive. Going to end up running. Yeah, we're going to be talking close to $10 a coin. If I can get them. Close to $10 a coin on 43D. 43S is even more. Okay, well, let me see what I can source on a 43D. I'll see if I can find a 43 in a row. We'll work on it. Trying to get it here and open it up. I'll tell you some that I generally like. How about 1946S? 1946S, you've got the 3 different mint mark styles. You've got some 40 some odd RPMs. You've got the 46S over D. You've got a number of double dies. There's at least 2 different really nice double die obverses. Could be some nice double die reverses. I can't remember. But out of what I've talked to so far, I mean, I think 46S is a productive. 49S. 49S is very productive because it has 3 nice double die obverses, and it's got a lot of RPMs. 37, like a 37 plain, D or S. Yeah, 46 Philly can be nice. Thing about 46 Philly is that they're kind of expensive because if you get the 46 Philly in high grade, you're talking about a really, really expensive coin. The 46 plain and a 67 is like close to $1,000 coin. They're nuts. But I mean, I can try 46 plain and see. The 37, probably the best one to look through for 37 would be the 37S. That would probably be productive for die variety. 37 plain works in any of them, actually. So I'll put all 3 of them on. Those are all going to run a little bit more because they're prior to 1940, and any original bank wrap roll from the 30s is quite expensive. They're definitely not easy to find if they're original. If they're real. I'll have to look that up later and find out exactly how much those will cost. Maybe I'll just take a poll at some point. Take a poll and we'll see what we can get people to respond to in regard to the different dates and what we can do. I'll probably do that during one of the auction shows. And a couple more pictures, James. Don't have them yet. Nope, don't have them yet. Went through looking for them again. In there yet. There we go. Got them. Isn't that amazing? The more I look at it, the more it actually does look like it's probably 63D DDO number 1. Look at the other picture you sent. Yeah, best picture so far. Definitely. That is one of them, I do believe. That does look like 63D DDO number 1. Oh, it's a nice coin. Probably $10, $15 in that condition. It is circulated, so can't expect a whole lot for them, but it's probably a $10, $15 coin in that condition. But yeah, this is definitely a nice picture. Definitely nice picture for not having a microscope. Sure. 55S is always a winner. I don't know of a 55S DDO. Maybe do a half roll. Problem is the half rolls are even harder to get than the full. Like that 46D roll that I did way back in the beginning, it was a 25-cent roll. Those are actually kind of tough to get by. So those coins could actually be more expensive than getting a 50 coin roll, simply because I had to pay so much more for the roll. Imas Omaha, I don't remember if I've received your package yet, but I do appreciate you sending it so quickly. Paul Hampton, yes, I did say that I have not mailed out packages I print the labels for on the 24th. Here's the process that I go by in that. The auction was, what day was the auction? It was the 22nd or 23rd, right? Auction was, okay, the reveals ended on the 23rd. So, or on the 22nd. So I printed the labels on the 24th. And that was just to ensure that I had all the orders together and I would be ready to pick everything. So I've got a picking list. Here, let me show you. These are the orders that I currently have ready to pick out. Yeah. So this is the orders that I have going out as soon as I can get them packaged. So what I do is I print a packing slip. There's another packing slip because I got 2 orders for one person. And then I print the postage label. And I print them all, and I've got them sitting there waiting for when I get the coins finished. When I get the coins finished, the coins go in order by person. When I get the coins in order by person, I go through their orders, and then I go through the actual coins, and I count everything up and make sure that I've got the right number of coins to the right number of coins on the picking slips. Then I pack it all up, put it in there, put it in a package, wrap it up real nice, put the label on it, and send it out. So what I end up with here is I've got all those are reveal coins that are separated by reveal, and I've got them ready to separate by person. But over on the cadenza over there, I've got like 40 different dies waiting for me to do labels for them. Here's one from the Reveal 83. Reveal 83 was a 1960 D roll. I found a couple of RPMs or double dies in, and all of these are coins that were 1 die, and all of these are coins that were a different die, came out of that reveal. And so I figure out what the die is, or I assign a new number. Then I do all the marker photographs on one of the coins. I mark down which coin was the one that had the marker photos taken. So they go in this book, and then they go onto a spreadsheet on the web. The photos get uploaded to the web. Then they get, then the photos get edited and made the right size for the website. And then someone puts in the information for the die into the website. I print flip inserts that are specific to the die. Nope, I don't have one up here. But I have flip inserts that I print for the specific die that I can put in with the people's die varieties. Then I separate all of those by person, and then I've got all the coins that go to that person. Then the package gets packed, the label goes on it, and it goes out. So this is one of those things where, yeah, I took on the work. I don't mind doing the work. That's not a problem. The problem is I can't do the work quickly, because if I do it quickly, I mess up the order of everything, or I end up sending things out that are not the way they need to be before they need to be sent out. That's a good question, Stonecutter. Where do I sleep? Or when do I sleep? Generally, I'll sleep somewhere between 2 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm up doing this most of the rest of my day. Either this, or you also have to remember that I'm putting together auctions and sourcing coins, going to shows, going to shops, or whatever I need to do to source the coins. I'm taking photos for the auctions. I'm putting lists together for the auctions, getting the shows together. I'm scheduling the shows. If I didn't have the people that I do have helping me do what I do, I wouldn't be able to do any of this successfully. So what I'm working toward right now, and see, I'm not complaining. I just understand that I'm not complaining, but I want you guys to understand how much work goes into this, how much time all of this takes to do, because I'm not trying to make excuses, and I'm not trying to slough off responsibility. Yes, I'm behind, and I'm behind because, well, I was sick for a while. I had some pretty bad health problems that I was working to try to get over that and work at the same time, but it was just not possible. So I ended up having to rest for a few days. After my few days of rest and a trip to Atlanta to go to the ANA show to try to source more stuff or meet more people or figure out what I'm doing with that, then, yeah, the frame behind me is a bunch of slabs. I'll tell you about that in a second. That was 2 more days out of my ability to get everything done here. And so, I mean, it's just a matter of trying to get my priorities straight, figure out exactly how I'm going to get done what I need to get done. And if there's any parts of my process that are labor intensive or over fat that I need to trim out and figure out what better I can do to make this stuff happen better. And that's all it is. Nothing more than that. I got no excuses for why everything's late. I just got to let you know that when I do a reveal, it can take me up to 10 days to get back to that reveal and identify the coins, put the flip inserts in, and get them ready to package. And I really hate where I end up having a reveal that I've done, and I've got the coins sitting there, and I know Joe McBride has coins in that reveal, but I've got a package sitting over here that's ready for Joe McBride that he's paid insurance. I mean, he's paid the shipping cost on it. I don't want to ship that package off and not include the reveal coins that I have sitting over here. So I keep myself constantly behind the 8 ball trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And I've got to figure out how to put a squash on that, because I need to be able to do like this week's stuff this week and next week's stuff next week, and not mix the weeks together, because I've got stuff from 2 to 3 weeks ago now that I'm currently trying to work on. So it's anybody and everybody. And then I get, and understandably so, I get emails, I get texts, I get messages from people saying, hey, I show tracking from the 24th, but I don't have a package. Can you tell me what's going on? Well, I get that from 8 different people. I spend the time to answer 8 different people while I could be working on the packages instead. And so that's why I put out broadcast messages to everyone to let you know, hey, I've got packages. I've got them ready to pack. I've got other ones that I'm still waiting on the reveals to finish so I can get that done, get everything identified into the packages. But everyone's going to get their mail. Everyone's going to get everything. And if you don't get everything, let me know. You let me know if you don't get everything that you're supposed to get in a package, and I will for sure make it right for you. But that's all I got, folks. Can't do much more than that. I am going to slow down my sales just a little bit because I seem to be selling faster than I can ship. And I know that is one problem I need to work on. But with this list of roles that you guys really want me to go through, I think we're going to be able to do a lot better at targeting exactly what we're looking for, exactly what we would like to go through. So there we go. The frame behind me, a bunch of slabs. That frame behind me is the 50 coins that were put into the book, The Top 50 Most Popular Modern Coins by John Mabin and Eric Jordan back in 2014. I designed the book. I designed the cover for the book. I photographed all the coins. Basically, it is the 50 most popular modern coins of that era. And the modern coins being the gold, silver, and platinum coins. So, well, there's some, yeah, they're all gold, silver, and platinum. And so the poster was made as a commemorative to the book. It's okay. I mean, I'm not getting on to anybody here. I want you to know that I'm not trying. I'm explaining this so that you guys really understand. It's from the heart. I do have all of this stuff sitting here waiting to go in the right order, and I have to do it a certain way, because if I don't do it a certain way, it's going to turn into a real mess. It'll be a real hot mess. It'll be impossible for anybody to clean up. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that I've got everything. I'm very meticulous about how I handle all of it. And because I'm so meticulous about how I handle it, it takes a longer time to get some of these done. So that it's not a matter of my forgetting you. I'm not losing things. None of that's happening. Everything is here. I know exactly where everything is. God forbid we have a tornado. That would cause a real problem. But I'm sure my problems would be a lot greater than that. But anyhow, my point is, I'm doing what I can to make everything as good as I can for everyone. So that's what I'm out here for. And service to others. What I was taught when I was younger, and it's what I do now. I think part of the reason why you guys stick around is because I'm an honest person. I think it's pretty obvious that I'm an honest person. I'll give you the shirt off my back to make sure that everybody's happy. No, I did not go to the Baltimore show. I don't know. I'm in a different place than North Carolina now. I'm not really Carolina. I'm not used to the fact that Baltimore is only a 5-hour drive from me. Not used to going to Baltimore because it's always been so far away. Think about it. When the Baltimore show comes up, I just did make it to the Atlanta A&A. I'll be making it to the Belton show in Georgia. I plan on making it to more of the shows in this area, although there was a show today and I didn't go to it. There's also a show today in Chattanooga, and I did not go to that one. It is my plan to start trying to make it to more shows, but let me explain something. I have people in my network who send me stuff from around the country that I have probably more material now than I've ever had at any one point in my life. And in that, I've got plenty of material to go through to make inventory and to sell. See you later, Steven. My voice is cutting out. Maybe I should be a little closer to the mic. What do you think? So I've got more material than I've ever had at any one point in my life to go through the idea of getting through all this inventory, marking it for sale, getting it ready to sell, putting it on the different venues that I've got, and running my auctions and all that, and shipping and doing my reveals and shipping my packages out. I don't really need to be going anywhere. I don't have any reason to go to a show. Is there any way I can get a quick buyer for the couple of 1982D 3.6 gram and 3.1 gram? I'm being honest and serious right now, though. Mark, that's a very, very loaded question. Most of your 1982 D Lincoln cents that are none of them are 3.6 grams. But if they are 3.6 grams, you probably need a new scale. The 3.01 grams are likely Coppercoins, which if they're large D mint, they're going to be normal 1 cent coins. Very likely that what you do have are going to be coins that are normal and worth face value. Aside from that, they need to be certified. And if they're certified, then who knows what you can get for them, because they would be very rare. I slip up once in a while and say something that teaches you. Yeah. That is kind of the funny part, is that I actually start talking and blabbering about something. I end up saying something that makes it click for somebody else. And it's one of those, well, who knows? Who could have known it? That if I say something like, I don't know, the wrappers from the 1960s are generally a lighter pinkish red color, whereas the ones from the 40s and 50s turn more to a deeper red, then into actually a purplish blue as you get older and older. And that is the general scope of colors of the wrappers, going from 1968, 69 on back into the 60s, 50s, and 40s. And so if you find a wrapper, if you find a coin, a roll wrapped with bright white and red paper that has 1958 coins on the inside, and it looks like a machine wrapped roll, I can guarantee you it's a modern wrap, because in 1958 they didn't have bright white paper that they put these in wrappers. Give you the number on the 63D. It appeared to be 1963D DDO number 1. That's all I can tell you, is that it appeared to be 1963D DDO number 1. I'd have to actually look at the coin to be able to tell you for sure. Talking the weights of the Coppercoins. Correct. Yeah, I understand. I completely understand. Copper Lincoln cents need to be 3.1 grams. They can go between 3.0 and 3.2 and be okay. If they're 3.6, you've either got a coin that's been plated, that has a bezel around it, or your scale is off. That's really the only answers for that. Because a 3.6 gram coin is too heavy, too thick, and it won't withstand the dye tolerances of the press during a time that it's minting Lincoln cents. So it is what it is, right? Folks, tell you what, in a couple of hours, it's going to be an hour later than it is now. Right now, it's 23:50, 11:50 p.m. Eastern time. That means it's 12:50 Eastern time as of tomorrow morning's time. Guys, be sure you remember to set your clocks back. Be sure you remember to show up at our Jessica Johnson's auction, Coin Night Live Auction Weekend Edition, coming up tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Central Time. And that is all I have for tonight. I appreciate it. You guys have a great night, a great weekend. If I don't see you again until Tuesday evening, which is the regular Coin Night Live Edition auction. Yeah, it is. It's actually today, right? Later today will be Jessica's auction at 3 p.m. Central Time. And then I'll be doing 8 p.m. Eastern Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. And then I'll be gone for about 4 days after that. And then I'll come back and start working on shipping packages again. All right, folks, I'll talk to you later. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.